Class 1 teams had already set sail for Turkey when news of the region's worst ever earthquake hit world headlines. Istanbul was the planned site for the Turkish Grand Prix, a famous city where Europe meets Asia physically and culturally. And now 2 weeks after the disaster hit their region, a city and a nation that is trying to get back to normal. Dividing the two land masses, one of the most famous stretches of water in the world, the Bosphorus. And this was to provide the dramatic arena for the race if it was ever to happen. But rather than just go away, the Class 1 teams decided to try to do something positive. And at the request of the Turkish team owner, Izik, who'd also planned this event, they agreed to race to raise money for the Earthquake Relief Fund.
Organizational-wise, we had no problem. As you know, we had the Formula 1 race 1 weekend before, so we were already ready for the Class 1s anyway. But overall, after the earthquake, we were planning on cancelling all of the 3 races. But we said if we cancel it, it's not going to do any help to anybody. So if we could really somewhat make it in such a way, we could raise some help for the people of the earthquake. And then it worked well. The Formula 1 guys donated all their prize money, so did the Class 1 people. And then in this way, we're trying to get some more help from different aspects. And then we try to actually raise for the help.
So in prize money and proceeds, more than $200,000 going to the relief fund, and the teams racing for honour and for points. And a lot of honour involved at this halfway stage in the season. The new threat is coming from Randy Sism and Ali Nasser in their new diesel boat, Victory 7, very fast indeed. Second in Oslo, but victory at last to the defending champions on home waters. Now they have a slim chance to retain their crown. But that's only thanks to the misfortunes of Mohammed Al Gaith and Kalfan Areb in Victory 4, who after 2 wins have had 2 crashes. In Oslo in the last race, their inexperience in their spare boat led to a rollover through charging too hard. So the battle for victory is now in the hands of the mechanics. But after 3 weeks hard work, Victory 4 arrives repaired, if not quite ready. And that gives plenty of encouragement to other teams now snapping at their heels. The No Fear team, after proving rapid in Oslo, are back in with gearboxes. And plenty of the other teams with less funds doing well this year thanks to their reliability. So to look a little nervous as they enter the waters here in Turkey. But the nerves soon shaken off as they fly down the qualifying flying kilo run at 231.51 kilometres an hour. So Hareb and Al Gaith very much still in the fray. And hoping to stay in the fray and keep in their winning ways, the Spirit of Norway team. 5th in the championship at the moment after the win on home waters. Steve Curtis, the British throttle man on the left, and his boss and driver, Bjorn Yeltsin, ready to put the gremlins behind them. 236.69 kilometres per hour certainly did that. And certainly now confidence in the team was riding high.
Yeah, I mean, it does help that we won the last race and that this course is quite similar to Oslo. So our setup on the gear ratios, etc., are going to be the same. Pop choice is going to be really important, then it's going to be down to driving the boat really hard and finishing, of course. And we need to get a win here as well as the last race. So if we do, we'll be in good shape for the championship. So hopefully we should be able to pull it off. I think we're going to make the right pop decision. We're discussing it now, and I'm sure we'll be discussing it 2 minutes before we put the boat in the water finally.
So perhaps a little hint of nerves in the Spirit of Norway camp, but no nerves at all in the Victory 44 team. Saeed Altaya and Felix Sorales proving their boat fast yet again. They lead the separate pole position trophy for these flying kilometre speed runs held on the day before the race, but as yet can't turn their straight line performance into the winning ways on the podium. And that's a frustration familiar to this man, Eduardo Poli, throttle man on the Hyatt boat. 2 years they've been developing this diesel-powered boat. It's certainly a flyer, and now they seem on the verge of race-winning reliability after a 2nd place at the last race in Oslo. And again here they were fast, 238.10 kilometres an hour. But now they have a diesel-powered rival. Randy Sism, throttle man on Victory 7, alongside his driver, Ali Nasser. Their new boat, only 2 races old, but certainly proving dangerous. 249.13 kilometres an hour means they continue to improve this boat, and And this pairing continue to be the most reliable in the championship so far.
No, the guys have been working real hard behind the scenes, making some small changes to it, trying to improve it. And we're trying to improve the handling as well. And so all these things are coming together, but it's still a relatively new project for us. The race is the big prize. The kilo's nice, but tomorrow's the important one.
But as he said, still nice to be at the top of any results board, and that's the place Victory 7 take. Hayat, a surprise to have competition now from that quarter. Certainly diesel power dominant here in Turkey. And so driver Ali Nasser from the UAE picks up his first trophy on a #1 place on a podium, and he'll be hoping to repeat it in the race. In that separate pole position championship, Victory 44 now coming under pressure. Hayat and Victory 7 share second place. Spirit of Norway showing they still can be fast if they were reliable. But the pole position runs here in Turkey once again, bringing focus onto the diesel engine-powered boats. A relevant subject then for one of our tech talks. UIM rule changes 18 months ago have allowed diesel engines to become more competitive. We talked to some of the crews that have been developing and running them, starting with a man who set a new Class 1 speed record for diesel boats in Arundel. What did he see as the benefits?
Well, mainly, we turn at about 10% higher RPMs than the standard engine, 10 to 15%. We have a higher turbo boost, if you want, in the engines. And that gives us maybe 20-30% extra horsepower compared to the standard engine. But keeping in mind that a standard engine, it's already an engine, as far as CITIC is concerned, which is made for like patrol boats, coast guards, crafts, lots of military use. So they are already making, let's say, fairly performing engines.
And another team following in Polly's development footsteps this year with the No Fear team. Matteo Nicolini, the throttleman, has more hopes for these engines in the future.
I hope I go up with the power. To be more competitive in the future, because we need to have more power, because the big difference that we have is the weight. This engine, with the weight respect of the petrol engine, is 400 kilo more each engine. And for go with 400 kilo more each engine, you must have minimum 200 horsepower more respect of the petrol. Petrol now is 1,000 horsepower. We are 1,100. We need to arrive 1,200 to stay very close or in front of the petrol boat.
Who can get what out of what engines as all the teams make their last preparations and the crowds turn up for race day. Mohammed Al Gaith left and Kalfan Hareb on the right. Board Victory 4 hoping to keep dry this time as we join race commentator Martin Haven.
The sheltered waters of the Bosphorus will produce a fast race on this 8-mile course, 15 laps and tricky turns at either end. Gear changing will be at a premium. The boats in line abreast, the starter's boat with a yellow flag displayed. It looks like a good clean getaway, a green flag right away. And through the middle of the field comes Victory 7, a huge rooster tail as they got on the power very quickly indeed. Excellent start from Victory 7. Spirit of Norway nearest the camera, picking up speed as well. Riding on board with them, just about to disappear into their rooster tail of spray is the local boat Izikla. The Spirit of Norway, Steve Curtis and Bjorn Jelston looking for a good result here. What a great shot. The field almost obliterated by spray from the front-running boats, but further back you can see more rooster tails. Here we are with Victory 4 back out again and hoping to shake off their bad luck from the last couple of races. Well, as they come under the bridge here, the channel's much wider. Those that got stuck in the spray in the narrow starting area starting to fan out now. Well, plenty of room to manoeuvre now, but as they get down towards the first marker, things will be a lot tighter. On board with Victory 4, Kalfan Hareb, Mohammed Al Gaith chasing the leaders. Speeds well over 140 miles an hour as they went past the bridge. Here is the race leader then, Victory 7. Close behind them, though, are their pursuers. Hayat second, Spirit of Norway's third, Victory 4 and Jotun on the far side. Very close indeed, and plenty of mileage left in this race. This is how close the boats are as they come up to the first marker. Spirit of Norway crossing the wake of Hyatt. Right there is Victory 4. This is where it all gets so difficult, converging now from their wide running paths down the middle part of the Bosphorus onto the racing line as they come down to the markers. The onboard view here from Victory 4, and coming down inside them and going straight across the turn, across everybody's wake, was Jotun. Looks like they got either lost in the spray or well offline. Victory 7 makes it round the first marker, stays in the lead, but it's very close indeed behind them for second place. Riding with Spirit of Norway, there is the red machine. Hyatt just going out of picture on the right-hand side there. So Spirit of Norway in second place, just one wake in the camera shot, and that is from this boat, the race leaders, Victory 7. Victory 7 leading, but look at this, from the spray comes Spirit of Norway. They've really got everything wide open. Looks a superb ride from the Norwegian boat. Victory 7 dancing all over the chop, though, as they run closer to the shore. Compare and contrast that with Steve Curtis nearest to us and Bjorn Jeltsen driving here on Spirit of Norway. Well, he'll have it fully trimmed out and the throttles wide open as they chase the championship points leader. Further back, here's the battle for fourth place. Victory 4 just goes through the shot, then Jotun in fifth. Andreas Ugland and Jan Hillestad had a dreadful first turn, and they paid the penalty for their over-exuberance. There they are in the inset, everything looking fairly implacable in the cockpit. Just the odd word between them as they scan the water, looking for potential problems. Well, that leaves Hyatt in third place, but the man on the move at the moment, in no fear, Ken Thorne and Matteo Nicolini, they are really closing down on that battle for fourth. Well, here we are on board in no fear, and again, both crewmen looking fairly implacable, just checking how close they're getting to the shore as they roar under the bridge. Here are the local heroes, though, in Iziklar. It's Ur Izik on the throttle of the twin Lamborghinis, and his French driver, Philippe Benamou. Izik not only owns the boat, but promoting this Turkish Grand Prix as well, determined to do well here. Right at the end of more laps of this 8-mile course to go, as they head on to lap 2, a sizable advantage already over Spirit of Norway. Well, there they go through the back of the shot and into the spray of Victory 7. Jeltsen and Curtis need to win here to keep their chances alive for the 99 title. Victory 4 running strongly as well. This, of course, the old Victory 7 boat, and they really have had a disastrous few Grand Prix. Now the gap there, 6.5 seconds to Hyatt ahead of them, and that will go out as they make a very wide turn, really messing up the end of lap 1. 198 km/h average for Victory 7, 194 for Spirit of Norway, and that really explains the gap between them at the end of the first lap. Spirit of Norway with everything wide open, they just can't match the leader's pace. Third place then, Hyatt, 4.2 behind, and again some 3 km/h slower on average. They were in the rough water and Hyatt seemed to be dealing fairly well with that, but I'm sure Mohammed Al Gaith and Kalfen Harab here in Victory 4 will try and avoid that as much as possible. After all, they've had several soakings in the last few weeks. They could really do without another one. Throttles on the stops, trimmed out, and the same situation right behind them. This is the battle for 5th place. Jotun on the left, no fear on the right. Well, they're 5 seconds behind Victory 4, but this is another couple of diesel boats. That's 4 diesel-powered boats in the top half dozen, led, of course, by Victory 7. They make a wide turn around the bottom marker, much tighter turning again from Bjorn Jeltsen. He and Steve Curtis really trying hard to catch the runaway leader. They'll need to. Their average lap speed is not as good. Here is Victory 4. Just ahead you can see the wake being thrown up and the rooster tail from Hyatt. That's the 3rd place boat. Again, Victory 4 looking for cleaner water as their sister craft heads off down the return leg here on lap 2. But what about the battle for 5th place? Here it is. There you can see the rooster tail ahead of them from Victory 4 on the outside, the red boat, and that means a very tight turn from No Fear. Ken Thorne and Matteo Nicolini on the inset picture there, running out wide. They make it just around the 2nd marker. That's a very good turn indeed, and as a result, they've picked up that 5th position. Well, great driving and a little bit of guts involved in that one as well. Thorne and Nicolini really working well on that turn. And you can see how much of an advantage they've pulled out already as they came under the bridge. And here, Victory 44 making a move as they go past Istiklal. That's the Turkish boat. They hugging the shoreline on board with Victory 44. Driver Saeed Altaya, throttleman Felix Sorales. And on lap 3 they're finally starting to pick up their pace. Right ahead of them is this boat, the number 5 Binautica. Well, Victory 44 had an oil pressure warning light come on in the first turn on lap 1, and they slowed right down. Everything seems to have checked out, and they're doing nearly 30 kilometers an hour faster now. But what's that on the right-hand side of the course? In the water, Bjorn Yelston and Steve Curtis. Spirit of Norway is inverted. They've crashed. Here is the rescue boat on the scene. The helicopter giving you very clear evidence of Spirit of Norway upside down, but the crew scrambling onto the upturned hull. Well, let's have a look at how it happened. My goodness me, right across the wake, turned sharp right, and a massive accident there. Well, that very dramatic picture showed exactly what happened. Spirit of Norway chasing Victory 7 right across the wake. The boat spins, and in a second, 5 tons of powerboat is on its roof. Crew bailing out underwater and swimming for their lives. Well, there they are. Thumbs up from Steve Curtis and a very shaky looking Bjorn Yelston. Looks as though they've got away without any kind of major injuries, and that is something for everybody to be grateful about. Well, 7 has a real chance of romping away from the rest of the field here. Look at the advantage they've got now over the second place boat. That's Hyatt, number 27, 17 seconds. But Hyatt almost matching them lap by lap for pace. Well, Victory 4 not going quite as quickly, but they're already able to pass Jotun. Jotun started off very well indeed, but their pace has dropped and they're just not on front-running speed. So Victory 4 puts them a lap down as they pass the crashed Spirit of Norway. Well, they'll be determined to take more points away from this race, even if it means finishing where they are now in 3rd place. No fear, running fast and still reliably in 4th. Ken Thorne and Matteo Nicolini, the best race of their season so far, averaging over 190 kilometers an hour, and that really is close to front-running speed. Moving up fast through the field, Victory 44, Saeed Altaya and Felix Sorales. They've already picked off Jotun. They're slowing. The Norwegian pairing, Andreas Ugland and Jan Hillestadt, looking impeccable in the cockpit. Well, there's nothing much they can do about it. They just want to struggle around to the finish and get as many points as they can. Binautica, in contrast, is going quicker. They didn't have a good start. The early laps were reasonably slow, but now they are picking up pace, having their best race of the season, and where better to do it than on home water. The crew of Istiklal, Urizik and Philip Benamu, they're in 7th place. They may have been put a lap down, but they're still going, which is more than you can say for the crew of Spirit of Norway, now on their way back to dry land. But how long will it be before their boat is in racing trim again?
We tried to overtake Victory 7, or get real close to them so we could overtake them on the bottom bend. And we were gaining on them, we were real happy. And we thought we could get through a gap that was a little bit too tight. And I was pushing probably a little bit too hard. I put the flat down a little bit, which makes the boat a little unstable. And we caught their wake, between the buoy and their wake, and it just spun on us and rolled over.
Well, Steve Curtis shouldering the blame for that, but who's to blame for this? Victory 7 nearly slicing Victory 4 in 2 as their sister boat slows with a problem. Mohammed Al Gaith, for some reason, steering right across the course in front of the race leader. Well, a blown right engine putting out Victory 4. A blow-up also taking Jotun out of the frame, and that leaves No Fear in a fine 3rd place. Half the race left to go, but on target for their best result of the year so far. Victory 44 might have something to say about that, though. They're closing at better than 10 kilometers an hour faster from 4th place. Lap 12, 3 to go. Victory 7 continuing to romp away from the rest of the field. Hyatt, their nearest challenger, and still running reliably. Looks like a great run from the 27 machine. Third place was held by No Fear, but as Binautica and Victory 44 go past him, Binautica about to be lapped. Clearly, Ken Thorne and Matteo Nicolini have got a major problem, and that black bodywork spells disaster for the right-hand diesel engine. They are definitely out of the hunt. And that leaves Victory 44 in third place. That early race warning light completely forgotten. They're running reliably, but a broken propeller shaft on Hyatt has dropped them out of the front-running group as well, unable to take the strain at such high speed. No such problems, though, for the race leader. The checkered flag flutters, and it's a clear victory for Victory 7. Randy Sism and Ali Nasser winning at an incredible average of 197 kilometres an hour. In second place, Saeed Al-Taya and Felix Serrales. Randy Sism and Ali Nasser joyfully celebrate their new boat's first victory.
So Victory 7 literally flag to flag. Their first ever win. Victory 44, second once again. But it's Hyatt who are classified third, having done more laps by the time the flag dropped than by Nautica. And another reliable run and a popular finish for Izik in Istiklal in sixth place. But it's Sism and Nasser who mop up the limelight and the applause here at the Turkish Grand Prix. And they have every reason to be pleased because they now lead the championship by 19 points. It's their teammates who are hot on their heels, but Jolly Motor, who couldn't race here, and Hyatt are still in the chase. But someone's certainly not in the chase, Bjorn Yelchin, looking on in dismay as they recover his Spirit of Norway. His championship hopes look equally wrecked. They hope to be ready again for the Fujairah Grand Prix, but there's an Aegean Grand Prix coming up next. They'll miss that. You won't. See you there.